Good morning and welcome to the third of our series of webcasts today. Today we're going to be talking about the changes coming to the Cub Scout program in June of this year. We'll be covering both the general nature of the changes associated with the program, as well as specific content of interest to units chartered by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Before we get into the content, just a couple of technical points. First, I see that many of you have already discovered the chat function at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Please continue to send us questions and comments as we go through the presentation. Be aware, however, that you're chatting faster than we can read. So we're going to do our best to harvest those questions, and we'll answer some of them later in the presentation. The other thing is, if you lose audio or have video difficulties, please post that on the chat function. We'll do our best to fix it. If for any reason we totally lose signal, just basically stay where you are, don't do anything for up to 2 minutes or so. We'll be trying to correct that situation on our end. If after 2 minutes it's not corrected, back out of your browser window and then rejoin the session, and hopefully we'll be good to go. So I've been blessed over the last four years to be working with hundreds of volunteers from across the nation to first understand the greatness of the current Cub Scout program and how we can continue to hold on to that greatness while we at the same time update the program to make it more dynamic and relevant to today's youth and families. As we did that, we wanted to make sure that we were simplifying things for our leaders, because we know it's a difficult world out there. Everybody has time pressures. And then finally, we wanted to make sure that we were enhancing the connection of the great Cub Scouting program to the mission and aims of the Boy Scouts of America. Today, I've got 3 of my new best friends, volunteers that have been leading this process to help us discuss what's going on. We'll have Nancy Farrell from the Denver Area Council. Nancy has been the leader of the team that wrote the curriculum, wrote the handbooks, and wrote the Den and Pack Leader materials. We have Ken King from Three Fires Council in Illinois. Ken was the co-chair of the program and one of our most prolific authors. And we have Linda Vaughn from the Great Salt Lake Council. Linda was also an author of many of the adventures, and she'll give us a special spin on the unique situations faced in a LDS unit. So let's get going. Nancy, can you talk us through how this process began?
Absolutely. So a question I've been asked, that I asked, and people have asked me is, why change? Why are we changing the current program? The Boy Scouts of America continually seeks to provide the best possible program for the youth and the families in America. And in order to do that, change needs to happen. The changes that we'll share with you today originated when the National Council presented their strategic plan of 2010. A task force of over 75 registered volunteers and professionals who work for the Boy Scouts of America reviewed the program element of that plan. Their task? To analyze all programs in Scouting and determine if we were relevant and dynamic for today's boy. Now, when they looked at the Cub Scouting program, while they found value, they did find areas that were not completely supporting the aims in Scouting. They reached out to child development, educational, and subject matter experts to better understand today's boy. Our last significant change in the advancement structure happened in the 1960s, and I think we can all agree that the boy of 1960 is much different than the boy of today. With the help of our research department here at the National Office, with Voice of the Scout, online surveys, and focus groups, feedback was obtained from our Cub Scouts, their families, and the leaders in the current program. What a wealth of information that provided for us. From your likes and dislikes, the need to remove passive requirements, and the desire to be a more active and engaging program. We also heard from our DEN leaders. They wanted more in the DEN meeting plans. They wanted an all-encompassing guide that had every resource available right at their fingertips and not have to look elsewhere. So with the analysis and the feedback in hand, We knew that Cub Scouting is fun and should remain fun. But we also knew we had work to do to make it relevant for today's boy. That's when a group of dedicated Cub Scouters wrote the curriculum and supporting den leader guides. These changes hope to ensure that Cub Scouting positions itself to not only grow and serve for today, but for future generations of youth and families in America. Now, Ken, help us understand a little bit the program model of the new Cub Scout program.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Well, an important part of the program model and what was developed is we had some considerations about the design for the new program and the process. One was to reduce the complexity of the current Cub Scout program. It was recognized that there are excellent materials in there, but over time, the way it was organized and the way it was delivered, it became more complex and was not working for leaders or boys as well as would have been desired. So one of the objectives was to simplify the program to make it easier to use. We also know that some of the requirements had become more passive over time. Talk and discuss are great ways to learn things, but it's not always the best way for a boy of Cub Scout age to want to experience things. So we wanted to make sure that the program remained connected to the mission and purposes of the Scouting, but we also wanted to do it through a way that was more engaging and more fun for boys. We also know that there's a den-based advancement model. This has worked well for Scouting for a number of years. It increases membership, it increases retention, it ensures that more boys have the opportunity to advance in Scouting, and as they advance in Scouting, the outcomes of Scouting are better accomplished. And finally, we wanted to have a more purposeful relationship with the aims of Scouting and the mission of the Boy Scouts of America. And so to accomplish that, we had a direction or we had some ideas rather, that connected us with the content that we wanted to achieve in the program. And we called those 5 points desired outcomes. Now, 3 of the desired outcomes many of you probably learned about in your initial Scout Leader training. Those are the aims of Scouting: character development, participatory citizenship, and fitness. Now, those 3 points as the aims of Scouting have always been what we've aspired to do in Scouting through the programs we have. And generally we've done a pretty good job of it, but we wanted to better focus the new program to make sure that we achieve those ends. 2 more things that were added to the aims of Scouting that make up our desired outcomes: leadership and outdoor skills and awareness. You know, no youth development program in the world does a better job of developing and promoting leadership in its participants than Scouting. We wanted to really capitalize on that virtue of Scouting and make it a more deliberate part of the experience for Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Adventurers all the way through the program. So leadership is an important part of Cub Scouting, and we're going to see that in the program materials as boys move through the program. And finally, what brings young people into Scouting is an opportunity to take part in outdoor adventure. So outdoor skills and awareness is an important part of the experience, and now is more consistently evident in the recognition materials. So advancement is connected with a set of desired outcomes: character, citizenship, fitness, outdoor skills and adventure, and leadership. So with those big ideas guiding how we develop the program, Nancy, you have a few thoughts on what the actual advancement program looks like that delivers on the desired outcomes.
I do. Our advancement structure has been simplified. No longer do we have to learn a different structure at different ages. With that, we chose the word adventure deliberately. Adventure means an exciting and engaging experience, and that's exactly what the boys will get in the new program. Adventures lead to rank advancement. A boy needs to complete 7 adventures to earn his rank badge, and that's for all ages. The recognition are now adventure loops and pens. As I mentioned, 7 adventures will be awarded the rank badge. 6 are defined, including a duty to God adventure that is primarily family-based and an elective of choice. Using those 5 areas that Ken mentioned, the adventures were written to be interdisciplinary. Those 5 areas were woven into an adventure. Let me give you an example of that. In the Webelos Walkabout, the adventure is primarily about hiking, and we're getting our physical fitness. While we're on the hike, the boys have the opportunity to provide leadership roles. We'll perform a community service project and bring in citizenship. And finally, by reinforcing the Leave No Trace skills and outdoor code, we're enhancing our outdoor skills. An adventure requires approximately 3 den meetings to complete, and 1 of those an outing. A boy should be awarded the adventure recognition immediately when he completes an adventure. Next, you will see the breakdown by rank, how the 7 adventures play out. You'll notice as a boy ages, he has more choices, and this helps him set up to enter Boy Scouting, where there's a variety of choices and freedom in the merit badges. As we mentioned, we had a pretty complex system. We had a recognition for tigers, wolf, and bears, and then we had a completely different one when it came to the Webelos program. That's been simplified now to the adventure belt loop for wolf and bear, and arrow of light, and Webelos now have and will retain the pens. Now let's take a closer look at those. You'll notice that for required rank, the loops and pens are in full color. You'll also notice that the electives are monochromatic. We changed the Webelos pen to a diamond shape and arrowhead for arrow of light, sharing the oval for common electives. And I have some great news to share with you all today. Our national supply has now provided with us the retail price of the devices. I know we've all been waiting to hear that information. The belt loops will come in at $1.39, which is a reduction in cost of the current belt loops. And our pens will remain the same at $1.89 with no increase in price. Isn't that great news? Linda, help us understand how we will transition our youth into the new program.
Well, Nancy, I'm excited about this new program, and it fits so well into the activity arm of the primary for the Cub Scouts and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'd like to share with you some planning options that will be critical in the implementation of the new program, not only for the year of 2015-16, but for every single year afterwards. Let's begin with the planning template that you can find in your Den Leader Guide. The first thing that you would like to do is place the required adventures. Do this according to your location, your resources. This is a great time for you to counsel with members of your Cub committee to make sure that you are fulfilling the unique considerations of your ward. It's a good time to get the input not only from your primary presidency, but also from your chartered organization rep to make sure that your program fits their desired outcomes. The next thing you'll do is you will place the elective adventures. Consider your talents, consider the talents of the members in your ward and your community, but most importantly, consider what interests your Cub Scouts have and what elective adventures they would like to participate in. Please notice that the Duty to God adventure is a family-based adventure. So we haven't put it in the calendar that you see right now. However, wolf and bear dens have the option of including that particular rank advancement adventure into their annual program. Once these have been set in place, you will begin this annual calendar on June 1st, 2015. And then you will repeat the same electives and rank required adventures every year. This ensures that the boys that enter in and age out of your den will experience the required adventures to earn their rank. Now, the transition between now and June 1st needs to be as simple as possible. What we'd like for you to do is to continue to plan and execute an excellent delivery of the current program. Work with the boys on their rank advancements, the requirements that they have, work with them on arrow points, belt loops, continue with an exciting program that will help them continue with the program. On June 1st, begin the new program. Begin the adventures that you planned. Please don't wait for the fall to begin, but begin on June 1st with a full and exciting summer program. When the boys that you have in your den right now, those boys that have participated in the current program and will be participating for a portion of next year in the new adventure program, award them their rank on their birthday. Keep the transition simple, make it fun, and recognize that this is a one-time experience and the boys get the best of both worlds. Almost all of our LDS units at some point will experience small cohorts of 8- and 9-year-old boys. Having wolf and bear den leaders do some planning ahead of time will facilitate this particular situation. If we have both bear and den leaders meeting at the same time in the same location, it will allow them the flexibility in their planning. First, they'll be able to separate and work on specific rank requirements in small groups, but it gives them the opportunity to join together for the big games and also to combine outings. This will require you to do some planning in your annual calendar. You can align like adventures and perform them at the same time during the year. And then as the boys move in and out, once again, they get the best of the program for their rank. In the Arrow and the Webelos and Arrow of Light ranks, we will continue to do as we are currently doing. The boys will have to complete both ranks in the same 12-month period when they turn 10. When the boys will have 7 adventure ranks required for the Webelos rank and 7 for the Arrow of Light, which totals 14. But if you remember that the Duty to God adventures have been written specifically as a family-based program, you will be able to pass those adventures off to the families and encourage them to complete them. As den leaders for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we are called to provide a quality scouting program for the boys in our units. And we are tasked to help the boys with the Faith in God program and to provide activities and opportunities that will help them fulfill this particular program. I am excited to tell you that the new Cub Adventure program does an excellent job of correlating the requirements in rank adventure to the 3 areas that we want the boys to grow in: learning and living the gospel, serving others, and developing talents. What that means is you don't need to plan separate Faith in God den meetings. When you run the new adventure program, your boys will have at least 2 experiences in each of these 3 different areas. So enjoy having fun with this new Cub Scouting program. Ken, where can we get some additional resources to help us out?
Oh, great. Well, thank you for giving such a good direction about how to implement the program at the unit level and with the PAC. We also have some new materials that will be helpful to you as you move forward in delivering and organizing for the new program. Hopefully a resource that you've all visited before is the program updates page on the national website, scouting.org/program updates. Terrific information. Everything there is accurate. It's the best possible information. So if you've heard rumors on third-party sites, take a look and confirm what's correct at the BSA program update page. An important feature of the program update website is you can sign up and receive an email alert when the new information is added to the page to keep you informed as to the changes in the program and new materials that are being released to support the program. One of the things that's posted on there right now is ongoing roundtable support for Cub Scout Roundtable commissioners. Once a month, we started in January, we're not only mailing that information to registered roundtable commissioners, but we're also making available in advance of the roundtables for any leader who'd like to visit it. But most importantly, go to the roundtable and learn about it from people who've are making use of these materials. We've taken the materials that are being used to develop the program, and we've broken them into small, digestible chunks. So between January and July, each step will help you become more ready to deliver the new program, and we want to continue to have the roundtable experience to be a great help for you in planning and delivering your unit's program. Among the other resources coming up are updated leader trainings. That includes not only the fast start training and the position-specific training. It's going to be adjusted. In fact, it's in the process of being adjusted to reflect the needs of leaders using the new program. But there's also going to be an online What's New in Cub Scouting program that will in some way parallel what we've talked about today, but it'll be a resource you can use to make sure you deliver the best possible program and understand the changes in the Cub Scout Advancement Program so you can deliver it with your den meetings. Now, for those of you who'd like to have a more immersive experience in how the new Cub Scout program works, we have a great opportunity taking place 4 weeks this summer at Philmont Training Center. During that time at Philmont, you'll spend a week in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains near Cimarron, New Mexico. You'll have a chance to meet Cub Scout leaders from all over the country and gain information about the program materials from the folks that authored it. So we're really excited about those opportunities, and we know that the folks that took part in the first version of that last summer have come back highly knowledgeable and great advocates for the new program, and we hope that many of you take that same opportunity now. So in addition to the program supports, we have been monitoring some of your questions, and Bob's going to get started with answering some of those.
Thanks, Ken. You'll be at Philmont this summer,
I will be
right?
at Philmont this summer. I'm looking forward to meeting some of you.
As will I.
Excellent.
So thanks. We're going to take a short pause here. We're going to pick up some of your questions. Again, we're monitoring what you're posting. We will not be able to pick up all of them. You guys are just too fast. We will update our frequently asked questions document as soon as we can, and that'll be posted on the program updates page. So to help me out, I'm going to ask Linda to come in here, and we'll sort of tag team on this.
All right.
Linda,
Yes.
how will the adventure structure work for the small LDS packs with the combined dens? Can you go over that again for us?
Let me encourage you to please have both both a wolf leader and a bear leader so that you have that 2-deep leadership. It's important to be able to run the rank requirements for each den so that you have them progressing with the ranks, with the activities that were designed specifically for those ages. The other thing that allows you to do, if you meet at the same time and in the same building, you can combine those activities, the games that require more people. You can also plan the outings. You might even have the luxury, if you're careful in your annual planning, to combine some of those outings with the Weeblos Den.
So Linda, the 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds might meet together.
Sure.
Right? They might do similar activities to meet their different requirements, but they'll also do their own work to meet the requirements of those 2 ranks, right?
And I think that's important for the boys not to think that they're getting either a watered-down program or one that they can't achieve.
Great, thanks.
Bob, this is a 3-part question.
3 parts?
1, what is the expected cost of the handbooks and den leader guides? Secondly, what sort of binding will they have? And third, when will they be available?
Great. Well, thanks. So I'm going to start at the end. They will be available on the 1st of May in your scout shops in English and Spanish. The actual cost has not yet been finalized. Next week and into the following week, we will be completing the final edit of the handbooks before they go to the printer. That's the point at which we will know our total page count and hence the cost of the book. So look for that information later on the program updates page. In terms of binding, we will bind them the same way we do today. There will be a version that's perfect bound, the stiff, hard spine. There will also be a spiral bound version. Our leader books, pardon me, our leader books will continue to be bound the same way they are today, which is 3-hole punch and shrink wrapped.
Great. Linda, why was the decision to use belt loops for the wolves and the bears for immediate recognition?
Well, Nancy, the boys love the belt loops, and they're easy to award. We can find all kinds of ways to display them, it offers a wonderful opportunity to see what the boys have done, and they like them.
Bob, regarding the Scout Oath and Law, won't this be harder for the Cub Scouts to learn?
Nancy, I think the reason to move to the Scout Oath and Law is first that it's called for in the mission of the Boy Scouts of America. We are all called to instill the values of the Scout Oath and Law. When is it better to begin than in the beginning? However, the boys are not expected to immediately know, memorize, and recite the Scout Oath and Law. They are complex concepts. They will require adult association and leadership for them to understand them. That will come as they experience the great Cub Scouting program and you build them into your opening ceremonies and closings. Even in the earlier ranks, Bobcat, for example, the requirement is that the boy learn and say the Scout Oath and Law, comma, with help if necessary. Additionally, every Cub Scout handbook and every leader book will be back printed on the back cover with the Scout Oath and Law. So, it'll take time, but that's where we need to head in order to instill the values that we're called to instill.
Great. Linda, can you please go over again how we're going to take 14 adventures in a 12-month calendar year for the Webelos and Arrow of Light program?
I know that seems a bit daunting, but it's very doable. The first thing you need to remember is that our families are going to help the boys earn the faith in, or the duty to God adventure. That leaves 12. That may seem a little bit daunting as well because they might not be able to attend all the den meetings and earn all of those adventures. It opens up an opportunity for boys to do some of the adventures at home. It might provide you with some fun family home evening activities and involve other family members to achieve these particular requirements. So the boys that do rank adventures or do adventures at home will then report back to their Webelo leaders, and those will count toward their rank advancements. Another challenging opportunity is that it may be that the boys will do 1 month a Webelos adventure and an Arrow of Light adventure the next month. It doesn't matter. By the time they have been in the program for 12 months, and if you keep your annual calendar the same, the boys will have traveled through each one of the rank adventures and complete what is needed for both rank advancements.
Great. Bob, can you share with us which of the Den Leader resources will be retained and which will be retired?
Sure. Almost all of the resources will be continued. The only one that's actually being retired is the current Den and Pack Meeting Resource Guide. It will be replaced by Den Leader guides for each of the ranks. One for Wolf, one for Bear, and a combined Den Leader guide for Webelos and Arrow of Light. We will continue to have the Cub Scout Leader book, the Cub Scout How-To book, the Ceremonies book, and the Song book, as well as the other materials that we have today.
Great. Linda, when will the new requirements for the Cub Scout STEM program be released?
They're working on them right now, and we anticipate by the end of this quarter that we should be able to have those requirements in place. The book should be ready by the 1st of September.
I believe it's 1st of June. I think they're working fast.
Well, if we get them by the 1st of June, we'll be excited.
And lastly, Bob, will the day camp summer program be using activities from the current program and requirements or the new program?
Yeah, great question, Nancy. For most of you, your day camps for this summer are planned. The resident camps are planned. You should continue to execute the great plans that you've developed. If you use the academics and sports program as part of your summer camp experiences, continue to do so. Our partners at Supply understand the importance of those belt loops if you award them, and they'll be there. I would recommend that you talk to your scout shops and they understand what you need. If you want to engage the new adventures in your summer program, you are certainly free to do that. I would encourage you, however, to make sure you're not putting a last-minute adjustment into an already great planned program. Okay, I'm getting the signal. That's going to end our question and answer period. As I said before, we're going to update the frequently asked questions probably sometime next week. Let me just sort of hit a couple of points, make sure that we all understand the big picture here. The Cub Scout program remains focused on 7 to 10-year-old boys, or in the case of the LDS Church, 8 to 10. It remains a family-focused program. Every adventure in the program has been designed that it can be executed either in a den environment or in the family environment. That is a choice that needs to be made at the local level. Bobcat is still the first rank to be earned by any boy joining Cub Scouting, despite what you may have seen in other resources. There are no changes in how a den and pack meetings are run, the same 7 steps of a den meeting or pack meeting, respectively. We have changed the name of business items in the den meeting to a friendlier talk time. The thing that has changed is the approach to advancement. As opposed to different approaches for Bear Wolf, Weeblos, and Arrow of Light, the approach is 7. Nancy mentioned it. Magic number is 7. 7 adventures and the boy earns his badge of rank. Additionally, we've unified Cub Scouts with Boy Scouts, venturing, varsity, and Sea Scouts under the Scout Oath and Law. The mission of the Boy Scouts of America calls on us to instill those values. We want to begin at the earliest possible time. And as has already been mentioned, we're focused on delivering those missions, the mission and aims, in a more intense way than we have in the past. So we've developed a program that we know, based on pilot results, is simple for leaders and more fun for boys. So let me wrap this up by giving you a little bit of a foreview, or what's coming. By the end of this quarter, March 31st, we will release revised position-specific training, both online and in person. Having said that, all the content, everything that's needed to begin your planning is available today. Go to the program updates page, www.scouting.org/program updates. You'll find the requirements, you'll find a presentation that will orient you, frequently asked questions, and other resources. We will have a What's New training designed for existing trained leaders that will cover the same content. By April 1st, we will release 2 years worth of themed pack meetings that cover the 2015-16 program year and the 2016-17 program year. So look for those. May 1st, big date. Handbooks and leader books in Scout shops, both English and Spanish, as well as EPUBs or ebooks available on Amazon.com for our handbooks, our leader guides, and the Cub Scout leader book. At that same time, we'll have all the other materials that support Cub Scouts, advancement charts, posters for the Scout Oath and Law, Den Code of Conduct, etc. And June 1st is the official launch of the new program. So in closing, I'm going to lean back on a favorite program of mine, The West Wing. Some of you may know it. In the end of the first season, the character President Bartlett is addressing a group of college students in a get out the vote kind of talk. And he says at the end, the future is defined by those who show up. So first, thank you for showing up. This is an expression of your interest in Cub Scouts. Now, go forward. You've got everything you need. Make this program sing. You can do it. So finally, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for Scouting. Thank you for everything that you do for the youth of America.